The Outer Worlds 2, the the $70 game that everyone? A lot of people. Some people were waiting for, right? Anyway, welcome to the Outer Worlds 2! So, you know Skyrim? Yeah, I never played it. Usually, immersive simulation games have a hard time hooking me. I am no stranger to RPGs and story-heavy games, but for some reason, if it isn't a JRPG, I will probably lose interest fairly easily. Because of that, I never really played Skyrim, or Oblivion, or Fallout, Cyberpunk.
If I need your body, I'll fucking...
Or even the Outer Worlds 1. The biggest problem with these types of games for me is that they overwhelm me. I've tried playing Cyberpunk before, but the introduction is so long. And yeah, I do care about these characters, but when it all goes to shit and the game finally really starts and you are free to do whatever, I do not feel prepared to figure stuff out on my own, because the introduction only used story progression and basic game mechanics. So what was that huge introduction for if I don't know what half of the icons on the map mean? Besides, there are builds, stats, and dialogue options locked behind those stats, and I think to myself, alright, what is the fun option? What is the road that would make me stronger? And if you have played these kinds of games before, you know that that's a dumb question, because ideally every option is the fun option, depending on the way you want to play it. And until I played the Outer Worlds 2, I didn't really understand that. And that's why I think the Outer Worlds 2 fixed a lot of the issues that I had with these kinds of games. But before we continue, did you know that most of my viewers are not subscribed? Wow, I bet you never heard something like that before! Also, I did receive this game for free, but the opinions on this video are all my own. We start at the title screen. When you press start for the first time, you do not go to a fancy menu. You actually talk to this guy, which is a great way of teaching players that one of the main ways of interacting with this game is through these dialogue options. Once we start the game, we are greeted with two important elements: comedy and pretty solid voice acting. Wait, is that Sonic the Hedgehog? To this day, many JRPGs insist on not being fully voice acted, or even voice acted at all. So I was a bit surprised when every single NPC had a voice, and not only was the voice acting pretty good, but the writing was up there too. This is a futuristic universe run by corporations, a capitalist hellscape, so a lot of the comedy comes from infomercials, unhinged billboards and signs, and very cynical lines that highlight the absurdity of their reality that I'm sure has no similarities with our own.
The new corporate entity known as Auntie's Choice invaded Arcadia. Auntie's Choice claims they are following market demands and liberating Arcadia through the power of capitalism. Many have died.
Anyway, you know how those kinds of games ask you to choose your playstyle before you even start playing? Like, how am I gonna choose? I haven't even started yet. This game fixes that by letting you respect your character after the tutorial. I found no reason to do that, but still, that's pretty cool. If you have been looking at the screen, let me ask you, am I using a controller or a mouse? I think the way that I'm controlling this game is pretty interesting, so this is Gyro Aim, and this is FlickStick. It allows me to be much more precise without needing to rely on aim assist, since I am essentially using the gyro sensors to emulate a mouse. Oh, so why don't you just use a mouse then? Because I don't want to. I think it's uncomfortable. Besides, I can't use a keyboard and mouse on my couch. And with gyro, I really don't need to, because I can have the best of both worlds. Usually, I would say that I can kill enemies with ease and do multiple actions at once, but for me, in a game like this, gyro aiming is actually best for looting. It's so much faster than sticks, and it makes the entire game more dynamic because of it. People usually associate this feature with Nintendo games, but as you can see, I'm using a DualSense. Unfortunately, these aren't native features in this game. I had to use Steam to emulate a mouse and create workarounds for the problems that came with that. So if you want to try playing the game like this, you can go to my gyro configuration collection and find all the instructions that you need there. Links in the description. Gyro aiming always improves my experience with games, so there is no good reason for it to not be present in like any version of the game. But I guess that's part of the experience, right? These kinds of games are famous for being mod friendly, so they are no stranger to mods that change the experience to your liking, even though some changes should have been there from the start. Anyway, let's go back to the game. I was really impressed with the dialogue options. Rarely, if ever, did I find myself disagreeing with every dialogue option. There was always at least one option that fit what I wanted to say, and unlike other games, it isn't just the nice answer versus the mean answer. You can be smart, persuasive, you can lie. There is so much freedom, it's awesome. Though, it is a bit overwhelming sometimes. Like, oftentimes, I've tried interacting with stuff and I didn't have enough points in a certain stat, but I'm not sure how many points I should have for a certain stat for that interaction to work. Also, I can steal items and I will get in trouble if I get caught, which is pretty cool, but shouldn't I be hoarding every item that I come across? Like, is it worth it to kill someone just to loot everything around you? I don't know. There's so much I don't know actually. There are so many layers of complexity to learn, it's awesome. Thankfully, the game does a great job of teaching you new things only when you encounter them, so you won't be bombarded with information all at once. The game trusts your intelligence, and it will explain things to you as you progress. No rush, no pressure, which is something that I feel that other games in this genre fail to do, or at least fail at being this effective. I haven't got far into the game, but the combat and movement feel really good too. I asked earlier what is the option that would make me stronger, but I believe this is the kind of game that you don't even have to fight if you don't want to. So you can win just by walking and sneaking around. That is just as strong as exploding everything. Though I wonder, if I want to be a ninja just running around, killing everyone with speed and precision, how far can I push that fantasy? There's literally a perk called Ninja, so I guess it's possible, but I think I have to play a little bit more to figure that out, because these games seem to be incredibly customizable. I wonder how the combat will feel later in the game. Although here in the beginning, the game seems to reward stealth more than anything. Another thing that I noticed is that in a game like Zelda Breath of the Wild, for example, your exploration of the world is led by your curiosity. You look, you go, you have fun. There are some enemy encounters and some NPCs to save and talk, and side quests to unlock shrines and whatnot, but most of the time you explore and walk just because it's fun. But after so many games improving on that formula, coming back to it makes the gameplay loop much more obvious. But why am I talking about this? Well, in The Outer Worlds 2, and I am assuming other games like it, my exploration was driven mostly by side quests. Quests that I gather by casually talking to NPCs that happen to mention that they needed something. And you can ask about your objective and what it is you're doing. You can even turn against your quest giver. You can be walking down a road and hear someone being threatened and watch the guy getting shot. Or you can do something about it, and who knows, maybe the character will come up later. It feels more meaningful because every quest is kinda like that. When I opened my journal, there was more side quests than I remember taking, because they were just part of the world, the outer world. And these quests aren't just the follow the marker type. You actually need to pay attention to the quest giver, to the description. You need to look around. The environment probably holds some clues as well. Gather information on your own by talking to NPCs. You know, you need to be immersed. And that's what makes a good immersive simulator. You know, trying new things can be rewarding, but some things are just not for you. And that's totally fine. This video was a bit different than my usual videos. Normally I just talk about gyro aiming. So, since I've tried something new, I invite you to check my gyro configuration collection and play this or any other game with my gyro configurations. Links are in the description. I don't know if The Outer Worlds 2 would hook me until the end, because this level of complexity is what makes the game great, and is also part of the same reasons that I didn't like them very much before. But I'm glad I gave it a shot. At least I got a new appreciation for these kinds of games, and I will keep playing until I get bored. Though, I wonder how veterans of this genre think of this game. Is it good or is it shallow? Leave a comment down below, I would love to hear your thoughts. Now, if you excuse me, I want to get back to the Outer Worlds too. Special thank to my patrons, Christopher Fox, Thena Oath, Easy, Ars Poetic, and Oryx Gazella. If you like this video, you will probably like this one too. Thank you so much for watching. Hi, it's me from the future. I just realized that I've mentioned immersive simulation games throughout the entire video, and that's not necessarily accurate to the genre of these games. But it's fine, right? No one's gonna call me dumb because of that, right?